Hello everyone, welcome to the channel, and today we're gonna go through our how-to guides. It's another episode on that, and that's how-to is about URUs and ISOs of your character and what you want to do to have the best URUs and ISO every single time on your account and your characters. And the management on the urus, it's pretty simple. You're locking the ones you want and you're combining all the useless pretty much. The same thing is with isos, but basically the ISO, you're holding them all because most of the times you're using every single ISO on every single characters because the ISO sets is pretty much demanding everything. For the urus from the other side, you want to lock only the good ones and you want to combine the rest of the urus. Urus like this one, recovery rate, and urus like this one shouldn't be used on your characters. The main goal on your account is to be able to pull out stats on your characters, able to copy your other stats, every single stat on your ignore defense, cooldown from the ignore defense and the cooldown. You want it to be capped from the other things and not urus or not your urus. So let's start with the urus and see the optimal build on a PvP character first and after on a PvE character. Let's start with the PvP. For the PvP, you want to have all the times on your character two urus of the attacking stat of your character. This character got physical attack, so you want two physical attack urus every single time, and to understand where you can see if your character got energy attack or physical attack. It's pretty simple because in the stat page in the start, the physical attack is here as the first stat, and it's the one with the biggest number here. As you can see, my energy attack is less than my physical attack because this character skills use physical attack. So the simplest thing, which is the same for PvE and PvP, is having double physical attack Uru. And after that, if you manage to be capped, as I told you, on ignore defense and skill cooldown, the rest of the stats you want to put them on HP. On 99% of the characters, I guess, the double HP Urus is the best case for PvP, and after a dodge Uru could be cool, or a double HP Uru. I mean, Odin's Blessing, but we're not gonna talk about Odin's Blessing. Let's guess that the character has, if your character is PvP and you don't want to spend Odin's Blessing on him, okay, on my PvP characters I have a lot of Odin's Blessing, as you can see, double HP Urus. But yes, if you don't have any Odin's Blessing, the point is double HP Urus and double physical attack Urus or energy attack, depends on the character, and that's for PvP. The rest you should use dodge, because another important stat for PvP, it's dodge. As you can see, I have 69 dodge here. I could be capped 75, but yeah, the rest of the stats is not that important. Attack speed is another important stat for PvP. So from the other things in your account, you want to get the attack speed, and you want to get the attack speed, ignore defense and cooldown, and increase your HP with double HP Urus and double attack Urus, and after perhaps dodge or fixing the rest of the things you don't have, as if you don't have attack speed, if you don't have ignore defense or skill cooldown. The importance here, it's for you, at least for PvP, it's ignore defense, attack speed, and after skill cooldown. You need to be capped on these three, but skill cooldown is something you could go away with not being capped, because you don't really care about 5% or 10% skill cooldown. because in some modes where is autoplay, having less skill cooldown is really valuable and gives you the opportunity to have to your skills to roll better, like alliance tournament and alliance conquest. The PvP, it's kind of different with PvE, but pretty much the rest of the stuff it's the same. So double HP Urus, double attack Urus, and one Uru that you want to fix, ignore defense, kill cooldown, attack speed, or dodge. You're prioritizing the rest and in the end capping dodge. So that's for PvP Urus, and for ISO, the ISO it's pretty simple. Protect the captain. No, I mean there is some characters that you want to be offensive with them, and there is characters that you want to be defensive. But most of the characters feels better for PvP with these here sets. The best one is Protect the Captain, because it's the only that provides you 5 defensive stats. It's max hit speed, dodge, recovery rate, all defense, and crowd control, and in the same time provides you 40% all defense, which is really huge stat. Is not something that the enemy can bypass, like let's say binary power greatest shield, but all the penetration the enemies has, the shield is getting penetrated. And in the same time, this set provides you critical rate, which is not that useful for PvP. So yes, in my opinion, the best one for PvP in the most of the times it's Protect the Captain, and after is Spider Sense, I could say, and Tenacious Symbiote. These three is the best because provides you the all defense, 40% all defense. And that's it. Pretty much for PvP, most of the times, 99% of the times, if you want to build a character that you want it to be durable, that's the 3 ISO set and the Urus you want to go through. So let's go through PvP now. For PvE basically. Okay. There is in these things I'm saying there is some exceptions, like Hulk, but it's like 1 in 252 characters. It's the only character that is not working with attack at all. So you want to have double HP Urus and just cap your other stats. You don't really need the attack stat on him. But the ISO, it's pretty much the same for him. So about PvE, okay, let's go to someone. I don't have Odin's Blessing, and I'm using him for PvE, I guess. Okay, let's go to this dude, Mr. Doctor Strange. And for PvE, you want to have pretty much the same thing, you know, double Urus for attack. And as you can see here, I'm using energy attack Urus, and I'm understanding that the right one is energy attack, and the rest of the Urus, it's you're fixing the problems your account have. You know, you have double attack, and after that, because PvE is more demanding on the stats you want. PvE basically it's more demanding on the stats you want to be capped. If you want to have a CTP of raids on any of your characters, you want to be capped on critical rate and dodge. And these two stats most of the times makes your life hard, you know, giving you hard time sometimes, because it's like 75% and 75%. A CTP of raids always provides you these stats, you know, critical rate and dodge, but sometimes it's hard to have them. So dodge Urus and critical Urus, if you are using a CTP of raid characters, it's the main thing you want to put on your character to cap these two stats. And after these two stats, critical damage is the third one. So you want to put Urus with prioritizing the attack, double attack. After, you want to every single time have ignore defense, skill cooldown 50%, attack speed 130%, critical rate and dodge if you have a CTP of raids, and critical damage to cap the critical damage also. So you want all your stats being capped, as a character that's gonna use a CTP of raids. Most of the times that is not doable with only Urus, so that's why you're using Odin's Blessing. As you can see, a character that has CTP of raids must be like this to be to getting the potentials of CTP of raids in your account 100%, because if you don't already know, CTP of raids goes into your account, looks at your critical rate and dodge, combine them and gives you a buff. So you want every single time your stats, your critical rate and your dodge being capped, or else you're gonna miss a lot in your account. As you can see here, my Shuri got a CTP of raids, but because I couldn't cap here on critical rate and critical damage, here you can see I have done everything I told you: ignore defense, skill cooldown, attack speed, capping critical rate and dodge, and the only thing I'm missing is critical damage, like 2 or 3%, and that's something you can see from my Urus. I have an HP Urus, it's a mistake here. I should, basically it's not a mistake because I have put double critical damage. You can see here I was trying to cap my critical damage, but I had no space for another critical damage here, so that's why I'm feeling the gaps with HP Urus. HP Urus is usable for PvE also to make you, more durable, but that's after you do everything else. You need to do everything else I already told you, and after you are going through putting HP Urus on a PvE build. Mainly, you're prioritizing attack, ignore defense, skill cooldown, attack speed, critical rate, dodge if you have a CTP of raids, and critical damage at the end. If you don't have a CTP of raids, you're skipping dodge. That's it. If you don't have CTP of raids, you're skipping dodge, and you don't really need to be capped on critical rate most of the times, because some buffs provide you critical. Yeah, as you can see here, my fourth skill gives me critical rate. It's the Berserk buff most of the characters have, so you want to go through your characters, see if you get any critical damage rate, and for every character there is a soft cap on critical rate. Soft cap means if you start the game with 65% with your account, with your character 65%, and you press the fourth skill, your character got 75, so you are capped. You need to consider the buffs you're getting through the gameplay while you're pressing your skills, and count it as a total with your account, with your character's page here. So if, let's say, I had no raids and I had here 65% critical rate, I could be cool and I could be able to cap critical damage first. Critical damage is more important if you're using a proccing obelisk or a CTP of energy or a CTP or mighty CTP of destruction. The rest of the CTPs basically except CTP of raids. CTP of raids gives you the thing that you need to cap critical rate from the start, because if you need to press a skill to get the critical to get the critical rate, you're missing the proc, the maximum proc from your first CTP of raids, let's say. That's why when you're using a CTP of raids, you want to have 75% critical rate and dodge from the start. That's why you're prioritizing these stats. But pretty much that's it. Double attacks, Urus, and prioritizing the stats. I already told you. Ignore defense, skill cooldown, attack speed, critical rate, and dodge if you have a rage on. If you don't, critical damage 200% and after critical rate, and you are aware of the skill of the things your your character provides you, like this 10% critical rate here. So that's for PvE and Urus, and let's go to the ISO set. The ISO set for PvE, it's pretty simple. There is only 3 ISO set, provides you proper stats, and you can find it really easy because it's the one that the game provides you most of the times. For the PvE, for the PvP, the game provides you here really weird ISO set, and you have to bypass them. You don't need to go through, get this decrease skill cooldown or this one. I mean, there is some good stuff here, like for some characters I'm also Groot is good, but most of the times the sets I saw you for PvP is the best one, and it's the defensive one. For these three PvE, the point is to look in your account and see what you need. If you find yourself not able to cap your critical rate or critical damage or cooldown, mainly you want to prioritizing the last stat here. If you miss cooldown, you're putting Hawkeye. If you miss attack speed, you're putting a power of Angry Hulk. If you miss critical rate or critical damage, you're putting overdrive. Because the rest of the stats is really similar. I mean, you can see here with Hawkeye, you're getting all attack, which is the most important, and all attack buff. For Power of Angry Hulk, the same, all attack buff, and overdrive the same, all attack buff. But in the other difference, it's that Hawkeye provides you the cooldown, and Power of Angry Hulk and overdrive provides you the ignore defense in case you want to cap. Overdrive, critical damage, critical rate, and some defense, and Power of Angry Hulk provides you attack speed and critical rate and some defense. So it's up to your account what you going to apply, but pretty much it's the same. If you can cap these stats, this doesn't really matter which one of these three you're gonna have, because the big thing is the 40% for 20 seconds you're getting here, which is really huge. It's a buff that everyone needs for PvE. And for PvP, some characters can utilize these ISO sets too, but you need to have an account that have a lot of HP and stay alive into the fight. If you don't have that, the ones I told you, it's the best. Protect the Captain, Spider Sense, Tenacious Symbiote, it's like the best. That was it pretty much. Let me know down below in the comments if you want to know something else. If you are seeing others and you're wondering why this guy got this Urus, let me know and I could explain you, or I could roast the guy. And this how-to is videos, it's up to help new players, and in the same time makes my roasting videos makes more sense to people that don't understanding why I'm saying that stuff, seeing me screaming on the screen and saying why you have this Urus. It's not that smart if you don't know what's the proper way to have the Urus, right? So yes, if you enjoyed, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. Help me to get through the YouTube algorithm and get my content to more people and me seeing the views and do more stuff on MFF and YouTube generally. See you into the next. Bye bye to everyone.